Hey man, if you love my YouTube channel, then you'll really love the Wavy Seals Elite. The Wavy Seals Elite is a membership group that offers you way more than you can get on YouTube. Not only do you get one-on-one communication with me at least once or twice a week through our live lessons, Q&As, but we also have multi-track practice sessions, 2-track practice sessions. I'll be bringing along other experts because I don't know everything. So every month we have monthly master classes where you get to learn from an expert in the field. We give each other feedback on mixes and help each other problem solve issues in the studio. As a member of the Wavy Seals Elite, you'll also get access to an amazing community of audio engineers and producers who are all learning and building with each other. There's 2 membership opportunities for the Wavy Seals Elite. You can choose monthly or annual membership. If you're ready to take your skills to the next level and really grow your career in audio production, the Wavy Seals Elite is what you're looking for. Controlling those frequency ranges dynamically when it needs to, and only attenuating those frequencies when they exceed a certain point, that's going to help me to keep my vocal a lot more natural sounding in this mix. Hey man, did you just learn what compression is? And now you getting confused hearing all this talk about multi-band compression? Oh my God, when will it end? What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Wavy Wayne from Wayne.wav. And of course, this channel is all about helping you to record and mix better and faster. So if you are new to the place, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of these videos that's coming up. So let's go ahead and rewind this whole thing on back, man. Compression and multi-band compression. Before we even talk about multi-band compression, let's just give a quick little synopsis on what compression is in general. I always use this little analogy of a compressor being like your mom when you riding in the car, all right? So the compressor's job is basically to turn down signals when they get too loud or exceed a certain level, AKA a threshold, right? So let's just say you with your mom, y'all going to where y'all going to get some cookies or something, so y'all driving, and then you like, oh, this is my song, this little baby in them, so you turn it up. Once you turn it up to a certain point and you hit your mother's threshold to where she like, you know what, that's too damn loud, so she hit her threshold, then the compressor activates, right? And then how fast your mother reaches over and turns that down is going to be the attack time. So how long does it take her to actually attenuate that signal? And then once she removes her hand, how fast can you go back and turn it up, right? Then that's the release time. How long does it take to get back up to the level it was at before she turned it down? Compression is used in recording and mixing to reduce the dynamics and have a more even level audio signal, which just makes everything work together a whole lot better. Let's start this off by taking a look at the controls on a standard compressor, and then we will compare to see how these controls carry over into a multi-band compressor. So here we are, I'm looking at the Dyne 3 compressor limiter that is stock with Pro Tools, but again, it doesn't really matter which compressor this is. They all have pretty much the same controls, all right? One of the first controls is gonna be that threshold. Remember, the threshold is the point at which the compressor engages, right? So back to the analogy, you riding in the car with your mom. At what point is that radio signal too loud that she starts to turn it down? So once the signal exceeds the threshold, then the compressor engages and starts to attenuate that signal. Attack time. Attack time is how fast, once the signal exceeds the threshold, how fast are we going to go ahead and reach over to turn that down, right? The release time, once the signal goes back, recedes beyond the threshold, under the threshold, once it recedes the threshold, the release time says, okay, how long after are we going to hold on to that compression? How long are we going to keep squashing it after it goes down? Are we going to release it quickly or fastly? And then ratio determines the amount of compression, to where a 2-to-1 ratio or 3-to-1 ratio, like it's set here, which means that for every 3 dB that exceeds our threshold, only 1 dB will actually be allowed to pass. The knee, as you see once I adjust this, you can see that the knee basically refers to the transition from compressed to uncompressed, to where a soft knee, right, will transition smoothly from uncompressed to compressed, and a harder knee would be used more for like percussive instruments, and it will go from uncompressed to compressed in a more abrupt type of way. Once you do all that compression, you typically will lose gain. Your signal is going to be lower in volume, so most compressors will have some type of makeup gain that you can add back to get a louder overall signal. Now let's go and take a look at our multi-band compressor, which is really just a compressor blended with an EQ. All right. So I'm gonna be using the MC404. This is a MIG DSP compressor, but it really doesn't matter which compressor you choose to use. If you look at this multi-band compressor, you'll see at the top window here, we have 4 frequency bands. That kind of reminds us of an EQ, right? Because again, this thing ain't nothing but an EQ mixed in with compression. So a multi-band compressor will divide our signals into different frequency bands, and then we can compress each band individually. Pretty dope, right? So let's say I wanted to get more compression on the low end than I did in the mid range or the high mids or whatever. I can compress each band separately, which is really good if you're working with material that covers a wide frequency spectrum, like the human voice or piano, maybe even a guitar, right? All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at how I would work with this vocal. Well, actually, before we do that, I just want to point out a few of the features and controls of this compressor. Again, of this multi-band compressor, we got band 1, band 2, band 3, band 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, lows, low mids, and high frequency compression that I could work with here. We have our crossover points to where I can choose, how wide or broad each of these bands are, and then I can work with them like that and do the individual compression amounts. All right, cool. Everything else seems pretty simple, right? We got our gain, threshold, compression. In this case, it's going to be the ratio. We got our knee. We got the bite, which is unique to this plugin. And then we have attack and release, just like any other compressor. So I really love multi-band compression because you get the compression aspect, but a whole lot more control. It's kind of like compression on steroids. All right, so let's take a listen to this vocal that I'm working with and see how multi-band compression can help us to really shape the vocal sound that we want. I ain't missing no amount, yeah. Run it up, I'll be waking up for a check. Cut it up, I'ma bust it down with the set. Can you turn around? I'ma wipe it down if it's wet. I keep a gun around. I don't got no time for a threat. These niggas be tripping on my. All right. So what I'm hearing while I'm listening to this vocal is that low mid range is kind of a little much for me, right? The highs sounds good. The upper mid range, that sounds good too. But that low and the low mids is sounding a little muddy down there. So instead of just grabbing a standard EQ and really thinning out that vocal, I want that vocal to keep some of that presence in there. And so controlling it dynamically, controlling those frequency ranges dynamically when it needs to, and only attenuating those frequencies when they exceed a certain point, that's going to help me to keep my vocal a lot more natural sounding in this mix. Hey, man, if you love my YouTube channel, then you'll really love the Wavy Seals Elite. The Wavy Seals Elite is a membership group that offers you way more than you can get on YouTube. Not only do you get one-on-one communication with me at least once or twice a week through our live lessons, Q&As, but we also have multi-track practice sessions, 2-track practice sessions. I'll be bringing along other experts because I don't know everything. So every month we have monthly master classes where you get to learn from an expert in the field. We give each other feedback on mixes and help each other problem solve issues in the studio. As a member of the Wavy Seals Elite, you'll also get access to an amazing community of audio engineers and producers who are all learning and building with each other. There's 2 membership opportunities for the Wavy Seals Elite. You can choose monthly or annual membership. If you're ready to take your skills to the next level and really grow your career in audio production, the Wavy Seals Elite is what you're looking for. So here we go. I like to start off when I'm working with multi-band compression. Let's just solo this so we can hear this. I like to start off with my low frequency, and I'll typically, on a vocal, this is my vocal technique, right? So I'll typically start off with that low frequency threshold slammed, right? That means it's getting everything. Because on a vocal like this, I don't really need a lot of low frequencies. This particular compressor, most of the time I don't find myself doing too many changes with the attack and release. The default settings are typically pretty good, and I most of the time just work off the crossover point and the thresholds. Now, of course, every situation is going to be different, so just because I say I do that most of the time don't mean you get lazy and stop using your ears. All right, so let's just hear this. Run it up, I'll be waking up for a check. Cut it up, I'ma bust it down with the set. Can you turn around? I'ma wipe it down if it's wet. I keep a gun around. This will work better if I had the actual plug-in on the correct track. I'm like, am I not hearing it? All right, here we go. Run it up, right. So with the low band crossover, the band 1 crossover, I typically will basically cross all the way up to the highest frequency that I can until it starts to sound unnatural, and then back it off a little bit because I'm really squashing those low frequencies. Run it up, I'll be waking up for a check. Cut it up, I'ma bust it down with the set. Can you turn around? I'ma wipe it down if it's wet. I keep a gun around. I don't got no time for a threat. Yeah, that cleaned it up a lot. Let's hear it before and after. Run it up, I'll be waking up for a check. Cut it up, I'ma bust it down with the set. Can you turn around? I'ma wipe it down if it's wet. Yeah. And then I can even, using the multiband compressor on my high frequencies, it's going to act a lot like a de-esser whenever those certain high frequencies exceed the certain threshold that I'm going to set here. They will be attenuated. So again, to find my sweet spot of those high frequencies, I just slam that threshold all the way down. So I'm hearing exactly which band of frequencies is being affected. And then I can lighten up the threshold as needed. Run it up, I'll be waking up for a check. Cut it up, I'ma bust it down with the set. Can you turn around? I'ma wipe it down if it's wet. I keep a gun around. I don't got no time for a threat. All right, cool. And now from there, I did my lows, adjusted my highs. Now I'm gonna go ahead and jump over to the low mid range here. Run it up, I'll be waking up for a check. Cut it up, I'ma bust it down with the set. Can you turn around? I'ma wipe it down if it's wet. I keep a gun around. I don't got no time for a threat. Run it up, I'll be waking up for a check. Cut it up, I'ma bust it down with the set. Yeah, and then I just need to hit my high mids just a little bit. I just want this one to kiss the compressor just a little bit. Run it up, I'll be waking up for a check. Cut it up, I'ma bust it down with the set. All right, and then after I do that, right, you'll notice once I bring this back into the mix, we'll notice that the level of the vocal has significantly dropped. Run it up, I'll be waking up for a check. Cut it up, I'ma bust it down with the set. Can you turn around? I'ma wipe it down if it's wet. I keep a gun around. I don't got no time for a threat. But wow, doesn't it make a huge difference on getting that boxiness and getting those unwanted low frequencies under control? To do my makeup game and add a little character to this, I'm going to use one of my favorite plugins, the Distressor compressor. I'm going to insert it on there. This is going to allow me to get a little bit of saturation into this vocal and also make up that gain we lost from doing that compression. Run it up, I'll be waking up for a check. Cut it up, I'ma bust it down with the set. Can you turn around? I'ma wipe it down if it's wet. I keep a gun around. I don't got no time for a threat. These niggas be tripping. Run it up, I'll be waking up for a check. Cut it up, I'ma bust it down with the set. Can you turn around? I'ma wipe it down if it's wet. I keep a gun around. I don't got no time for a threat. These niggas be tripping. All my jewelry dripping. Whip straight out the kitchen. Try some of those techniques out in your next mix. I hope you have found this multi-band compression tutorial to be helpful. Remember, bands will make her dance. Sorry about that. This channel is all about helping you to record and mix better and faster. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and make sure that you also follow your boy on Instagram, man, because I be dropping some jewels over there too. Y'all go ahead and be dope. You hear?